Hello, I'm just going to show off a little bit, small module. It's something that you can use for both RPEs and percentages, and it's kind of a mix and match between the two, and I think it kind of works. Hopefully it'll work. So let's try. I'll enter my estimated 1RM, or it might be tested. So let's say it's 150. I'm just going to go by familiar figures. And this, of course, this table only works up to 7 reps for now. I think you can periodize them. You can use another graph for higher reps, but it's the same basic principle. So the RP scale is going to be different for everybody. Some lifters will be able to do 10 reps with 90%, and others will be able to do only 4 reps or 3 reps. And that's kind of, well, the main thing behind this kind of merger is that you want to make sure that specificity is on the premium. So what you actually would want to do with a lifter that is doing 10 reps with 90% of her max or his max, but probably this is a woman in that case, you want them to be better at performing with the higher percentages. So if they can do 10 reps with 90, they should at least get 3 out of 95, and you should just kind of get them stronger. And when they get stronger, they will no longer be able to do 10 reps with 90%. If you're training for powerlifting and you're doing this year long, and that's your compassion, and that's your goal, the training will be steered towards lower repetitions, higher weights, and longer rest intervals and stuff like that, and technique will develop, and most will not be able to continue doing such high reps with so high percentages, and that's kind of the goal. You want to get them stronger with 1RMs, not 10 reps. Anyways, let's get back to this table. I start with 1RM value. I enter that. And the kilos are automated, and it's based on the reps. So let's say you do one set with 7 reps, and you predetermine, or the program tells you that this should be 7.5 RPEs. Just, no matter if it's a percentage-based program, keep that RPE value in the back of your head. Because if it's a 9, and you were at 110 kilos, you're not strong enough to do that weight. So let's say you're going to do 7 reps, one set. That means you should be at 74% of your max if it's a RP 7.5. And that means that if you were to go all out, you'd do 12. So see, if I go to 7, I'll do 13. If I go to 6.5, it's 14. And 6, it's 15, like a 15 RM. Reps in reserve are the last column. So back to 7.5. If I can't do 110 kilos, then my estimated 1RM, or the 1RM value that I used, may be a bit too high. I'm gonna, I did 105. That means I should probably stick around with 142.5 instead. And going back to 150 for a calculated 1RM, if I'm supposed to do 3 sets with 7 reps, then I have to lower the percentages. Not too much, but you build up a certain amount of fatigue. So then you're down at 69.5%. 4 sets, 68. So it does increase a little bit, decrease a little bit, I'm afraid. If I'm to do a 10 RPE with 3 reps, that means that I have no more reps that I can possibly use. Then I'm at 93% or close to it. If I'm doing 2 sets, I'm at 90%. So if I can perform 2 sets of triples on 135 kilos, then I can reverse calculate my 1RM to be 150. Now let's say I did 145 for triples, 2 sets. That means that 160 is certainly a possibility. And we can use this table beneath here to go the other way around. We can just enter whatever weight we've used. 180 kilos. It was 8.5, so it's not brutal. You know, I had 3 more reps in a tank. Because I did a triple, it was 8.5. I had 3 more reps if I were to go all out. That means that my calculated 1RM, or stipulated, 210 kilos. And I think this probably sits about right. And I think that no matter if you start out and it's skewed, you can always tweak it a little bit, change the numbers in the formula a little bit. But I think that this is kind of stable because this is 7 reps and down. And when you're at 7 reps, it's a bit more easy to calculate the actual 1RM values. You're getting close to, you know, it's no longer pure guesswork. And you know, it doesn't, the numbers itself doesn't really matter. You can find your own key or own method of calculating the percentages based on the kilo lifted in reps in reserve and RPEs. But for powerlifting performance, you should really try to get close to what this table tells you to do, because I think that most powerlifting programs, in terms of what rep ranges they use and the taper and the key workouts, which are usually triples and doubles, closer to competition. If you can do that with these percentages, I've seen time and time again that will produce X amount on a competition, given a deload and stuff like that. So in terms of the last 12 weeks, your strength is going to be pretty stable. You're not going to do tons of volume. You're not going to do a lot of different exercises. You're going to do competition exercises. It's going to be close to specificity. So you're not going to do 10 reps. You're not even going to do 7s, you know, maybe for accessory lifts, but really you're down at 5 and less, 4 and less, and 3 reps a lot, and singles. And at that point, RPEs are kind of, well, it has value, but it's certainly not going to be as useful as when you're off season, when you don't have that clear-cut goal. Because no matter what you feel about a workout, no matter what you feel about a set, the RPEs are not as concrete as a number. And percentages are just based on numbers. So you have to have a working goal. And I think that when you have a working goal, every effort you make will go towards improving that goal. And I think that a lot of people will burn out if they chase too many RPEs, personal bests, in training, you know. Leave the good feeling for the platform and kind of stick with the weight that the program tells you. If you're 1 RPE or half a RPE value over what you intended, that's okay. You don't change the entire program based on that. But you know, this will allow even the most rigid percentage-based program to be manipulated by the lifter themselves, and it puts a little bit more control in the hands of the lifter. So this is a merger that I'm gonna try to make right, and I realize that the RPE tables are probably going to be personalized a little bit, maybe a difference between weight class, experience, strength level, stuff like that. But in the end, work with it for a while, stick with it for a while, gather experience, and try to, I think that you should try to get close to whatever this graph tells you in terms of getting the goal you want it in the competition. If you're just going to train, maybe it's better to just use your feelings more exclusively and count on the RPEs. But I'm sticking with percentages, but I'll gladly listen to RPE judgment from the lifter. So this is just a little introduction to how you can do it. Implement the two together, RPEs and percentages. Thanks.